comments, "Yum, but where's the protein?" And, "A growing girl needs protein." She feels like a bad mom, and there's no worse feeling than that. She is afraid to ask that simple question: what's the big deal with protein? There are collages of people we have heard from throughout the years, but their concern is the same: protein. Today, it seems everyone has an answer for that question, but rarely the right one. The only constant is that we're obsessed with protein. We look for it on menus and labels, form the family table around it, and get anxious at the thought of not eating enough of it. This is for a good reason. Protein is essential. It makes your hair strong and your skin supple. It fuels your immune system. It helps form the hormones, neurotransmitters, and enzymes that affect the functioning of your organs and nerves. Protein is, quite literally, the foundational building block of a healthy body. Without it, life would not be possible. Protein was first isolated in 1839 by a Dutch chemist named Gerhard Mulder. He named his discovery after the Greek word proteos, which means of primary importance. It was a fitting baptism for a nutrient that has become the subject of a nationwide fixation. We need to eat protein to survive, but our supersized culture has twisted this fact into a dangerous fallacy that we need to eat as much protein as possible. Mulder originally isolated protein from meat, which gave birth to another myth, that only animal products have protein. That's not the case. There are many sources of protein, but most people are under that impression, perhaps because it's ubiquitous and easy. Of course, animal protein may have been essential long ago for nourishing our ancestors in times of scarcity. These apish humans scavenged for animal meat when there wasn't enough plant food to sustain them, and the extra calories helped hasten human evolution. Until the invention of tools, early humans were not effective hunters. They had to rely on larger and faster animals to leave fallen prey for them to scavenge. And even still, a little bit of meat is fine for humans. But you know how we humans tend to be. If a little bit is fine, more must be better. Speaking about more, the so-called Green Revolution, which drastically increased the productivity of global agriculture by introducing new chemical fertilizers and synthetic herbicides, is credited with saving more than 1 billion people from starvation during the mid-20th century. The increased yield made it possible to feed a growing human population. This was the intention, anyway, and it was a worthy one. However, although these high-yield crops promised to be a panacea for global hunger, there was at least one additional effect. Cheaper and more readily available grains could also make it possible to raise more animals, which meant cheaper meat, dairy, and eggs. Animal products, once a luxury, were now a staple, a profitable staple. Small-scale animal producers continued to raise animals in a traditional, sustainable manner, but they were soon to be trounced by industrial factory farms, corporations, taking advantage of the inexpensive corn, soy, and wheat to mass-produce animals for slaughter. We soon learned the consequences of cheap, plentiful food with Frances Moore Lappé's groundbreaking 1971 book, Diet for a Small Planet. All of that mass production is placing immense pressure on our land, water, and air, not to mention on animals themselves. The inefficiencies of cycling crops through animals are catching up with us, and as the global population grows and continues to demand more and more protein, we will pass the breaking point. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations concludes that we're going to have to increase food production by 70% if we want to feed the world's population in 2050, which is impossible given our current reliance on land, water, and energy-intensive animal agriculture. Quite simply, if we keep producing food like we do now, we will not be able to feed the world's population by mid-century. We are also reaching a breaking point with our health. A little bit of meat may not be especially harmful, but we are eating far